Libras, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for the week of the 7th through the 13th of November 2016. I'm Athen, and this channel is about using the actual constellations in the sky. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link down below because the signs are different, which means your sign might be different, and you'll want to watch this for the right sign. All right, Libra, so this week we have a lot of things shifting, 3 planets shifting sign, in fact. One is your ruler Venus, who's going to be going into Sagittarius right at the beginning of the week. Also Mars shifting into Capricorn at the beginning as well. And a bit later, around Friday, Saturday, Mercury starts to go into Scorpio. So let's go and look at this in terms of your ruler, because you will be feeling this the most significant, is this shift towards more of the practical and inquisitive and learning side of the chart. You know, this is the 3rd house. It's about everything that has to do with the mind, about intellectual stuff. It's a really good time to be picking up that book, maybe doing some writing. But it's also about exchanging and sharing ideas with others, you know, in a verbal sense perhaps, or exchanging in the marketplace. For those of you who are involved in business or trade or something like that, can really be putting an emphasis on that as well. But all in all, I think all of you using that analytical mind, using the practical mind, really getting into the you know, how things can be applied in your life, whether you're reading a self-help book or a practical book or sharing them some information about that. It's a really good time for those matters. Maybe even too connecting to your siblings, in fact, which is also 3rd house, or maybe your peers, or what you might consider your community. Now Mars is shifting at the same time going into your 4th, which is the house of your roots. So there should be some good motivation to be had when you're channeling it into your home life for some of you, your family life, your health for some of you, anything that you consider your roots and your foundations, and maybe even reflecting on things a bit. Now your energy levels might be a bit low on some level, at least in terms of maybe your motivations, because of course Mars doesn't like to be at the bottom of the chart. He does like to be in Capricorn, and your sun is in the 1st house, which we'll talk about. But you know, if you are feeling that less motivation, it's good to channel that into the things you're sentimentally connected to. And those you're sentimentally connected to when it comes to relationships, because that's where Mars is sort of trying to put its energy. And even though it's not an energetic area, you know, around home and stuff, but you can make it so, you know, initiate some things, maybe, you know, exercise or something around the home, whatever it is. Anything that motivates you or gives you energy regarding those roots, I think is excellent right now at the moment. And all in all, you could be cultivating maybe some of those roots in your health and all that good stuff over the coming weeks. Now, let's talk about this sun. So happy birthday, first of all, for those of you who have your birthdays this week. But all of you do have your sun in your 1st house. So it is a time of new beginnings with you. You know, this has been these past week or two, depending on when you're watching this. We had a new moon very close to your sign. So a great time to be focused on you. Great time to be focused on your personal needs, your independence, your goals, your ambitions, and your desires in life, right? And so it's a great source of energy. I think it's a great week to continue to cultivate those things if you haven't been already. And what you're going to be, I think, coming to an awareness of as we go into next week, which is going to be a full moon on Monday, is the importance of relationships, because you're going to have a full moon right on the cusp between your 7th and your 8th house, emphasizing the importance of, yes, there are personal needs, they're important in life, but at the same time there are others' needs. And as you know, of any other sign, you know the importance of balance there, right? That what is actually right for us is what's right in the relationship, what's actually right for the other person is what's right for all as well. And so it's about finding that balance, finding that cooperation, finding that harmony, both within your personal needs and the needs of any relationship or interaction you might be a part of. So that's going to be mostly on Monday, and it's a good weekend for that, you know, this weekend. But all in all, I think the focal point here is on your needs, focusing on your goals and continuing to move those things forward. And also too about presence and acceptance and going with the flow. You know, the new moon was very close to your 12th house. I do want to mention this. You do have Jupiter in your 12th house, emphasizing that there should be plenty of opportunities to maybe get your alone time, maybe reflect on things a bit, have more peace and tranquility in your life. So I think it's a little bit of both worlds there. All right, so that's the whole backdrop to the week. Another backdrop to this week I do want to mention is that Neptune is going to be very close to the South Node. They're going to go exact on the 17th next week. But as the week unfolds, just like that full moon, this is really getting emphasized. And this is about a bit of the past patterns, the past unhealthy things that may have been surfacing lately with the South Node. So, and letting them go. In other words, to make some changes in your life, to bring some balance back, so that there aren't any old unhealthy patterns resurfacing. And you might notice that that has to do with your self-expression. All right, this is all happening in your 5th house. And with Neptune, if you feel like there's some ideals about your self-expression or about your passions or your enjoyments of life, and it seems like it's something that might be taken to an extreme, an over extreme, which might be idealizing it or putting it on a pedestal or yearning for it. But it could also be an under extreme if you're feeling maybe lethargy or lack of, like, if you feel like there hasn't been enough balance and energy put into your self-expression. Maybe it's time to make some changes with that. But whatever it is breaking some past patterns. And so I think it's a great week to do that, but at the same time to kind of become acquainted with what this might be, because I think next week will be the big changes. But maybe, start moving some things forward to where you can bring balance with your self-expression, bring some changes here with your enjoyments and passions and things that are close to your heart. And this is also that you can really put energy into your aspirations in life. This is the North Node. This is really the focal point holding this whole thing together, in a sense that life is unfolding for you in such a way and saying, hey, look, it's time for you to be cultivating your future aspirations. And for some of you, it's time to be cultivating your sense of community and friends and networking or whatever, connecting to groups. So, in the world at large, and your idealistic side, in a sense of what's good for others, what's good for humanity, what's good for the community. And again, the future, but it's all future things. So I think that's the focal point. I think that's what balances it all out. And I think as you focus on those aspirations and future things, you're going to find that it does help balance out this 5th house. But again, there's some change here I think needed, so you can have balance with your self-expression, have balance with your passions, which then serves as the foundation for you to pursue those aspirations. Because the fact of the matter is, we can't have aspiring things, future things, if it's not grounded and rooted with what we enjoy, with our self-expression, with what gives us passion. So it's that kind of a thing. All right, so let's look at the aspects. There's not a whole lot of aspects this week, but at the beginning, the sun will be sextiling up to Pluto, again emphasizing, yes, positive changes with self. I think it could be a good thrust to the beginning of the week where you can initiate some things there. Maybe again involving those communications, and again maybe involving those aspirations, since the sun does rule that 11th house of yours. Then as we get into this Friday, Saturday time, Mercury starts to shift into your 2nd, so you could be thinking more about the financial material life. And why not? This has been Saturn in your 2nd house, really helping you get disciplined with all this, take this stuff seriously, saving or long-term goals with your values, really grounding your self-reliance and your sense of self-worth and all this. So now Mercury comes in here, and you could be maybe thinking more about things in those terms, maybe working on the details of the finances or whatever it is, and cultivating fundamentally that sense of self-worth, that yes, you do have everything available to cultivate your true values, not every value, but your true values, and being grateful for what you have and all that can help you see that. So that's a shift into your 2nd house with Mercury, and the sun will be trining up to Chiron, so there's a bit of rejuvenation for all of us collectively this weekend, and this might have to do with, again, yourself, your goals, your ambitions, and again, maybe a bit of those aspirations as well. All right, so Libras, have a fantastic week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next week.